All right, welcome back into KC Sports Tonight, Friday edition, final Friday Night Blitz of the year. But before we get to all that high school football fun stuff, we're starting with the big news of the day, which is that Travis Kelce hit the podium today. Mark, you listened to his whole press conference. What were your main takeaways?
Well, a couple of them. The first one really is like, boy, how cool is it that we actually got to hear from Travis Kelce at the podium today? Because he's, in the last couple of years, the media availabilities with Travis Kelce are so few and far between. And today, he took to the podium, he spoke for a couple of minutes, and boy, was that guy captivating. I was like, God, I wish we could talk and hear from you more at the podium instead of just on your podcast. But
him and Mahomes are the best talkers on the team.
They truly are. And I mean, Spagnuolo I would put up there sometimes, but among the players, I would definitely say Patrick and Travis are the top two guys there. But big takeaway is that he was asked about, the future. Right now, he is under the last year of his contract of a 2-year deal. And we know last offseason going into this year, it was one of the biggest questions that the Chiefs faced. Like, was Travis Kelce going to come back? There were a lot of people that were of the belief that if the Chiefs were to have won the Super Bowl against the Eagles, that could have been the final game of Travis Kelce's career. But instead, the Chiefs were kind of blown out. Travis didn't have the game that he wanted. And and Travis, he was really motivated going into last offseason. That was another big topic of conversation today at the podium, was kind of like what he did last offseason to get in better shape this year. And he said, hey, it's kind of a product of his environment. Like, it was something that he needed to do, and something that just with the way the team was constructed, the way the team was playing, that's something that allowed him to kind of get back in the lab, lose a little weight. And then this year, I mean, Katie, he is performing better than he did in 2024, much more like he did in 2023. But did we learn anything today about his future? All we learned is basically that Travis is going to make a decision before next year's draft. He doesn't want to put the Chiefs in a bad position where they won't be able to, find out where they're going to be picking, if they're going to get a compensatory pick, something along those lines. So he is going to get it done before the next league year begins, and that's when he's going to make that decision. We were talking about this in the sports office. Is this going to be Travis Kelce's last year? Beginning of the year, I would have said yes. Now that we're kind of midway through the year, kind of thinking about it. What do you think, Katie?
I think this is, and I've felt that way since he restructured his contract 2 years ago, and he, the money and all that stuff changed, but the timeline didn't change, and that's when I was like, at that point he's going to be about 36 or nearing 36. At the end of that deal, I just felt like he knew that's when it was. This was after, I believe this was after him and Taylor started dating. Obviously, he knew he wanted to marry her from the start. They're both kind of, talking about kids and all that stuff. So I think this is it. I believe that the only way that Travis Kelce comes back for one more year is if they go to the Super Bowl this year and they lose, because of the way we saw that affected him after last season. He said he just had the worst taste in his mouth all season long. It's why he went back and, reworked his whole routine and got in such better shape and is having such a better season than he did last year. But I do think this is it. He's on the tail end of his career. He's up there in age. I was never a believer that he was going to call it quits after last season. That was a debate by a lot of people. I never once believed that he was going to end his career on that note, and B, just because he restructured his deal when he did. Like, that's my biggest belief here, is like he made it 2 years ago for a reason. So I think, Taylor Swift, she's tired and they're not going to tour anymore, and they're just going to go be happy newlyweds in love, and this is Kelce's final year.
So that kind of, I have a question for you here, because I know obviously a lot about the Chiefs, and I know you know a lot about Taylor Swift. So maybe for someone out there, like I've seen a couple headlines, but does it sound like she wants to start a family soon? Could that be something that draws Travis away from football? What do you think?
Yes, I do. And they're both around 35 years old. The time to start a family is around that time, just biology of it all. And she talks a lot on the recent album that she just dropped. In her song Wish List, she says like she wants to have kids with him, and clearly they want to do that soon. That was the big indication that I got from the album. And I just think it's coming soon. This is Kelce's final year. What do you think?
I definitely would have thought that kind of going into the season. Like, if you asked me maybe in August 2025, I would have said, yes, absolutely, this is going to be his last year in the NFL. But then, last week when we were in Denver and he was having such a good game, I was just kind of watching him there on the sidelines. I mean, this was a guy that was fully engaged. This was a guy that was talking trash to the other team. This is a guy that, he was 9 catches for 91 yards. He was still a guy that could impact the football game. And I think there's a strong argument to be made. He's still a top 5 tight end in the NFL. So, I mean, for these guys, obviously I know the allure of walking away for Travis because he's dating one of the he's engaged to one of the most famous people in the world. They have to get a wedding arranged. They have to get all this stuff kind of going on. But at the end of the day, like, where do these guys feel most alive is on the football field. And I don't think there's a single professional athlete, very, very few of them, that go out there and wish they had played less football. Like, all they want to do is play for as long as they can until literally the wheels fall off. And for Travis, the wheels just have not fallen off yet. Is he the player that he used to be 5 years ago? No. Is he still a very good NFL player? Yes. Is he still very much part of the fabric of the Chiefs organization, a huge leader in the locker room? Yes. And right now, Katie, you know this, in the Chiefs locker room, Travis is the man. Mm-hmm. And that's not something that people walk away from. Like, he's the man in that locker room. And I think that obviously, he's got to lure away from the field, things that he wants to do, but he's a football player. That's what he is.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned there are things away from the football field that he also wants to do, and I think that also kind of plays a role in it. He's acting in Happy Gilmore too, and he's hosting SNL, and he's reached this level of celebrity where I think he's played football all his life. He's played sports all his life. He's already cemented as a Hall of Famer, like the greatest tight end to ever play the game, or at least one of the top. If there are some Gronk believers out there.
No, I was writing a script. He owns 10 NFL records. Like, think about how many football players ever own 10 NFL records. I mean, that's kind of a jaw-dropping statistic, but hey, he's one of the greatest to ever do it. Yep. He really is.
Absolutely. And but yeah, I mean, obviously we all want Travis Kelce playing football for the Chiefs as long as we can possibly get him for. But he's up there. He's had a storied career. I'm a believer in, like, go out on top. Like, Tom Brady coming back for that final season after he retired, that was a mistake. And it was a mistake because he lost to the Cowboys in the playoffs.
I'm interested to see
how sad it is to lose to the Cowboys in the playoffs?
Yeah, no, the losing to the Cowboys, especially in the playoffs, boy, they don't have a lot of playoff wins recently, so that's got to be tough. But I think Tom Brady, that's a perfect example. I mean, his guy, he had literally everything in the world, probably. I mean, and he couldn't walk away.
He had Giselle.
He could not walk away. That's how much football means to these guys. I mean, because it's literally, for some of these guys, they fall out of love with the game. But I mean, for Travis Kelce, for as long as he's been playing, he clearly loves the game of football, and it's not something that he uses as a means to win it. It's truly, truly a love of his. So, I don't know, Katie. I think if he has a good year, he might sign another 1-year deal and just do a kind of a year-to-year basis. But we'll see. We'll see.
And I mean, I think it's kind of similar to Jason Kelce, where, like, he could have come back for more years. He could have kept it going. He was around the age that Travis is now. He chose to go out on top, and that wasn't with a Super Bowl win or anything. It was just go out on top of being one of the greatest centers to ever play the game. So I think they kind of maybe share a mindset there. And like I said, I think there's just different things on the horizon from Mr. Kelce.
No, Travis did bring up his brother today, talking about how his brother went through this process, and he's kind of talking about at what point he wanted to reach that decision, which is why he says April, kind of before the NFL draft. But
yeah, because you also got to give the Chiefs the chance to find the next Travis Kelce, which, I mean, they already missed out on Trey McBride, who I think could be the next Travis Kelce. Some other names come to mind. Maybe they really believe in Jared Wiley. Maybe they really believe in Noah Gray. But the time to find the next Travis Kelce, it's approaching.
All right, I'm going to break some news right here. The next Travis Kelce is not on the Chiefs roster.
Do you think it's Trey
It is
McBride?
not Jared Wiley. It is not Jake Brenningstool. It is not any of these cats. They're not gonna replace that production with what's in house. I can just say that.
I think Trey McBride is that next guy. I mean, he's had a phenomenal year, and so it's about that time for the Chiefs to start thinking about the next man up at that position.
We'll see. That'd be a sad day, a big change in the guard here in Kansas City. But, hey, that's the life. Hey, every Father Time is undefeated, and every career must come to an end. Obviously, Travis, though, we hope it extends and he continues to play well.
Yep, of course. All right, we're getting to Chiefs Colts now. Injury report came out today. Isiah Pacheco out. He will not be playing once again. Kareem Hunt, it's your time to shine once again. Xavier Worthy and Kingsley Suamataia are both questionable. How concerned are you about the run game?
Very concerned about the run game. I know last week, we knew the Chiefs were going to have Pacheco. We knew the Chiefs were going to try to find some other ways to kind of get some of that quick game going. And we saw Patrick was trying to complete like a lot of these short passes. But the Chiefs offense right now, it has really become a very, very predictable. And I know a lot of Chiefs fans really talk about how they want to see more of the team under center. I'm not really going to get into the X's and O's so much. I believe Andy Reid has known way more about football than all these Chiefs fans online will ever know. It's kind of unbelievable the amount of people that are calling out the coaching staff.
What?
I mean, guys, they've won 3 Super Bowls in the last however many years, and all of a sudden they're Twitter experts that know more about football than Andy Reid and Matt Nagy and company. I don't know where these fans kind of get the confidence to say some of these things online, but I guess that's why they're online and not working in the building.
You're telling me that Chiefs fan 123 doesn't know ball better than Andy
no.
Reid?
It kind of is unbelievable. But I mean, Katie, boy, this game Sunday against the Colts, we talked about last week in Denver how high the stakes were. I mean, if the Chiefs lose this game and they drop to 5-6 on the season, I mean, you and I are going to have a bunch of time off in January because it does not look like the postseason will be in our future. The Chiefs have a huge 4-game stretch coming up, and it starts obviously Sunday against the Colts. But they have a short week, Thursday, Thanksgiving down there at the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, that's going to be a huge game. I mean, this game, yes, it's a huge game. But what really does, I'm very, very concerned about Kingsley Suamataia because last weekend in Denver on the sidelines, I saw him leaving the field. He was with, I believe, trainer Rick Burkholder and then the head of the team security, or the guy that always guards the team's practices. And I thought Kingsley had a leg injury, like some sort of lower body injury, like a knee or an ankle, just because of the way that he was limping and the way that he was kind of struggling to get off the field, and he needed help. And then we found out about 20 minutes later that Kingsley was in the concussion protocol. And I mean, that he was definitely struggling with his balance and his ability to walk off the field. I mean, and this was just last Sunday. Now, is his brain going to be healed up enough to play completely up to his abilities on Sunday? That's certainly something. I know it looks like he might be trending that way. He's been at practice this week, but boy, I was very worried about Kingsley. Katie, what do you kind of think about all this?
Yeah, I mean, that offensive line, at least now with Josh Simmons back, it can maybe afford to take a punch with having a utility player in Jalen Moore back, ready to step in along the line. But you don't obviously never want that to be the case. You want your starters to be out there, all 5 of them. But like I said, Jalen Moore is a very capable starter. So it's not the worst thing in the world for me, but it's still plenty of cause for concern because we know, every game from this point on is pretty much a must-win. They really don't have much room for error going forward, especially against AFC teams. And the Colts are leading the AFC South at 8-2. Something that I'm going to bring up in regards to just how must-win every game is for the Chiefs going forward. I am very worried at this point that the loss to the Jaguars is very much going to come back to bite the Chiefs in the butt. When it first happened, we were kind of like, it was a road game, is a one-time thing, it's fine, they'll bounce back, it was a close game, it was freak accidents, whatever. The Jaguars' remaining schedule is literally so easy, I think I might be able to play in those games. Besides the fact that they play the Broncos, they next play the Cardinals. They then play the Titans. They then play the Colts because they are in their division. They then play the Jets. They then play the Broncos and the Colts again, and then the Titans again. So their remaining schedule features the Jets, the Titans twice, and the Cardinals. And then 2 of those games are just against the team leading their division. So they're already not going to win their division. The Colts are going to win the AFC South. That doesn't matter as much to me, especially against, and then that other game against the Broncos, who might win the AFC as a whole. That is what concerns me. I think that the Chiefs are now, because the Jaguars will have 1 win over them and the fact that they beat them. So the Chiefs need to win out, and they need to hope that the Jaguars make mistakes.
I think the Chiefs, and every team that's in the playoffs basically right now, the Chiefs do not have the tiebreaker against them. So the Chiefs are going to have to overcome a lot. I mean, but this is, I know so many fans have just been kind of waiting for the Chiefs to turn it on, but it's just that's not how sports work. Sports, you do not flip a switch in sports. Like that's you don't rise to the moment. You fall to your level of preparation. And what has happened right now is that the Chiefs, they played 10 games. They're 5-5. Like the other teams have made the plays. Like if you want to be a playoff team, you don't throw a pick six against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like if you want to be a playoff, the Chiefs, they've played a bunch of teams that are currently in the playoff picture, and they've lost to those teams. So it's almost getting to the point where the Chiefs don't even deserve to be in the playoffs because the teams that will make it to the playoffs this year in the AFC have already beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Chiefs have got to find a way to get to the dance, and it is going to be super tough.
Yeah, and we talk about close games and the fact that they're 0-5 in one-score games this season. This game is going to be a close game. The Colts are too good. Jonathan Taylor is too good.
You hope it's a close game.
You hope it's a close game, I guess we should say. Or maybe do we just want the Chiefs to blow them out? I mean, that would always be great. But with how good this Colts team is playing, and then the fact that they make that blockbuster trade for Sauce Gardner, and they have Travarius Ward back there, like teaming up with him back in the secondary. Like it just feels like the Colts have beefed themselves up, and they're capitalizing on the momentum that they have right now.
Yeah.
The Chiefs needed to capitalize on something at the trade deadline and get a running back. They didn't. They wouldn't go up to a third for Breece Hall, which I felt like should have been what they should have done. And now it's coming back to bite them, I think, because they don't have a run game right now. Kareem Hunt, apart from Patrick Mahomes, who only had one rushing attempt against the Broncos, Kareem Hunt was the only guy who touched the ball out of the backfield. And he was held to about 50 yards. So they're one-dimensional right now. The only use it seems that they have are when they're in short yardage situations, and Kareem Hunt can punch that 1 yard score in, or get the first down for 2 yards or whatever. But they're one-dimensional right now, and that's what you never want to be on offense. They know that most of the time Patrick Mahomes is going to be throwing the ball, because without Pacheco, that's just what they have right now. And even with Pacheco, the run game still wasn't super great. Whose ever fault that may be. So yeah, they need to prove, this is the game to prove that you can win a close game, because it hasn't happened yet this season.
Yeah, it hasn't. And I know, if you kind of take a deeper dive into some of the Chiefs' offensive numbers, I think a lot of the analytics, really do say that the Chiefs are, they're actually playing pretty well on offense. But I think this is part of the problem.
They're better than they were last year.
I think this is part of the problem, though, when you fall in love with stats. I mean, the stats can be misleading. Stats are not always indicative of what is happening on the football field. I mean, there's just certain plays that mean more than other ones. I mean, think about the pick six against the Jags, or Travis Kelce on the goal line against the Eagles. Certainly those are certainly one plays, but those interceptions prove to be such big backbreakers for the Chiefs. Or even just this last week in Denver, the Chiefs are driving down the field, threatening to take control of the game, and then Patrick Mahomes throws a back-breaking interception. I know obviously you can skew stats in all these ways, but those turnovers and those critical moments have really come to haunt the Chiefs. And I know the one against the Eagles that bounced off Travis's hands, you wouldn't necessarily say that's Mahomes' fault, but Mahomes has to play better in some of these big moments like that. The game that he had against Denver, backs against the wall, almost a must-win situation. He did not play well enough last Sunday against the Broncos. And I know we give him the benefit of the doubt. He's won 3 Super Bowls. He's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. But in the same token, we can say that he needs to play better in some of these big moments, and the Chiefs need to come up with something, and they just haven't done it yet. But we'll see. That's why they play the game on Sunday. We'll see what happens. And guess what? It's right here on KCTV5.
On KCTV5 and right here in Kansas City. That's a huge benefit, I think. The fact that they get to play it at home, bounce back from, a close game in Denver, and the most hostile environment that I think they've had in a hot minute in Denver, because it's the first time fans there were excited about the fact that their team could actually beat the Chiefs and could actually win the AFC West for the first time in 10 years. So, being back at home this week, I think is going to be a big momentum boost. I don't think the fans have given up on the Chiefs this year. I think we've got what?
No, I'm just glad that you brought that back. That you brought that back up about the fans, because I was talking about this to you when we were out there in Denver. That game in Denver last week, I think that was the loudest Chiefs game that I've been to all year. And I know the Chiefs.
It wasn't at Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah, I know. And the Chiefs fans, Arrowhead is known as the loudest stadium in the NFL. It did set the Guinness World Record. But I think in the last couple of years, Arrowhead Stadium, all right, I was going to say it, Arrowhead Stadium has gotten a little quieter over some of these last couple of years. And I think that the fans have gotten used to winning. I think the fans have gotten used to the teams making the winning plays that they need to make. when I think about back in 2007 or ish, like when the team was horrible, like the fans had to cheer so loud to try to make an impact on the game to help the Chiefs win, and that was. But now the Chiefs are just so good that maybe the fans haven't had to cheer as much. But I want to hear those fans on Arrowhead on Sunday really making it kind of a 12th man situation, loudest stadium in the NFL, make it disrupt the Colts operation, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think we still got at least like 3 more games before the fans like start giving up on this team. I think they're still in it. They know that they can turn this around. They know there is a decent chance they can make the wild card round. But yeah, so obviously we're excited to see that. It's at noon right here on KCTV5. Tune in for all of our coverage with that. Okay. College basketball. Why are we talking about college basketball? Because once again, Darren Peterson will not be suiting up for the Jayhawks in their tournament in Las Vegas this coming week, the Players Era tournament. Bill Self said he's close, but he is not in a position to play multiple games in a short span. What do you make of this news, Mark?
This is shrouded in mystery. Obviously, I think Darren Peterson has been dealing with a little bit of a hamstring. I know there was some speculation at the beginning of this whole injury situation. Is this load management? I think now we can certainly see that after he has been held out of a couple games like this was not load management. I mean, he was held out of a huge game against Duke. Like, this was simply a situation where Darren Peterson needed to sit there and get healthy. And if he's close, that's good, because KU, they don't need him for right now. They need him for the stretch run, and that's really where they're going to need to find out who he is and how much he's going to be able to help this team. But I think actually spin zone, I think it actually has been pretty good for KU to play without Darren Peterson, because I think they played a lot better Tuesday night against Duke than a lot of people would have expected without the potential #1 overall pick. And I think you also saw some other guys try to find maybe new roles. Maybe if Peterson is going to be off the floor certain times when he is back and healthy, kind of find, what's the pecking order of this team? Who's going to be the first option? Who's going to be the second option? I think, like, we've certainly seen, like, when Darren Peterson is not on the floor, it's going to be Melvin Council who's going to be the primary ball handler. He is going to be the initiator of the offense, and then from there, we've now kind of see the pieces kind of fall into place. So, obviously, does KU fans, do basketball people, do they want to see Darren Peterson back? Yes, but if you're going to be the potential #1 overall pick, if KU is going to make a strong run late there in March, he has got to be healthy at the end of the season, not at the beginning of the season. So all that to say, it sucks. We want to see him out there, but he needs to stay healthy for what KU ultimately wants to do, which obviously is why they're holding him out. I don't think I'm breaking any news here, but Katie, what do you kind of think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we see this often in sports where when a star player is out, sometimes it can be exactly what the rest of the team needs to force them to play to a higher level. Very often in sports, especially in a sport like basketball, it can kind of be a little bit like, okay, well, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to drop 40 points tonight, and we can also be here. But when you take the star out of the game, it forces other guys to step up to a level that they just haven't been. And I think that's what we saw against Duke the other night. Like you said, they played way better than we expected them to. Trey White, I thought, had an awesome game, leading them in scoring with 22 points.
Fourth school in 4 years, Mr. Trey White, balling out. And
shout out Flory. I mean, he got in foul trouble towards the end there in the second half. But I thought he had solid improvement there as well. Melvin Council obviously stepping up, like you mentioned. So I think there are benefits to a situation like this where it'll bring the other guys up and to realize the way that they can play and not kind of, just fall back into that, like, DP is going to shine. So, like, we're just here around DP, So maybe it does have a positive effect come Big 12 play. Because, I mean, that's what's really important here is winning the Big 12. Winning the Big 12 tournament, whatever you got to do. These games, I don't want to say they're exhibition games, but, I mean, they'll get their quad 1 wins eventually, is the idea. And I think it's a little bit of load management where, like, early in the season it for sure was. But then, I think if it was the NCAA tournament, that Duke game, he would have played. I think he would have. But it's not.
I think also just a little bit that has fans worried is that these are just kind of there's the cramping issue and then the hamstring issue. And fans are like, hey.
Which apparently are the same thing now.
We've heard that this guy's going to be the number 1 overall pick. Like, we know this guy's getting a bunch of NIL money. We know that this guy is the former number 1 overall recruit. Like, people just wanted to see him play, and they really are not being able to do that. They want to see if the hype matches up with their eye test. And unfortunately, they're not able to see it right now. But what I mean, if Bill Self is looking at this in the big picture, like if there's like a 25% chance that Peterson re-injures his hamstring or has an issue that comes up, it just isn't worth it to play him right now. Like if this guy is going to be the straw that stirs the drink, if he's going to be the guy that's going to get a lot of NIL money, if he's going to be the guy, whatever, the highest paid player on the team, he has got to be there when it matters the most, and that's just not right now. So do we want to see him? Yes, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see.
Yep. All right. Before we go, our last topic tonight, Friday Night Blitz, the last one of the year. Technically, there is still more high school football games to be played, but this will be the last Friday night that we have like a ton going on.
Yep.
Next week is state championships for Kansas. The week after will be state championships for Missouri. We've still got a good amount of games tonight. Let's read off the list. Starting with our game of the week, Neil Jones. He is going to be at Liberty versus Lee Summit. That's going to be a big one over there on the Missouri side.
Yeah, Lee Summit with some nice wins here down the stretch. Beating Lee Summit North twice this year. Very good team.
Very impressive. Okay, we're also going to have some Platte County versus Grand Valley coverage. Platte County looking to win their, was it 25th straight?
I believe, in a row.
25th straight win. I will be at Olathe Northwest and Gardner Edgerton, the reigning 6A state champs, against Olathe Northwest, who just upset the 1 seed of Olathe West last week. So that'll be a pretty good one.
Yeah, I bet a lot of those kids, though, Gardner, not very far from, I mean, Olathe Northwest, far end of, I bet a lot of those kids, Olathe area, I'm sure they grew up around each other. I'm sure they played against each other their entire lives. Then there's going to be a lot of rivalry juice in that game. That should be a good one.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see very crowded stands on both sides of the field. Okay?
Oh, Gardner has a gorgeous stadium, too, Katie. It's going to be
I've been
great
there
out
once.
there. Yeah.
I think I went there like the second week of the season this year. So I'm excited to see it in playoff atmosphere. We're going to hope it doesn't rain. And then, Mark, you're going to be at Bayshore Linwood, where they're hosting St. James.
Should be a good one, yeah.
All right. How excited are you?
This is what it's all about. I mean, high school football, I love this season. It's so much fun to go out there, see the community, see the parents, see the family, see the younger kids playing football on the side. But I mean, this is going to be a very, very serious week because the stakes are so high. But, Katie, we said this before. We've had a couple rainy nights here on Friday nights. Ball security is going to be such a big key tonight. I mean, guys, every team is going to be trying to steal possessions. It's going to be cold. It's going to potentially be windy. It's going to be slick out there on these turf fields. Balls are going to pop loose. It's going to be championship football. I mean, I am so excited for a crazy night of Friday Night Lights, and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, they're high school kids. It's just an exciting game. Sometimes, you know, they'll have a wide-open touchdown pass, and they'll get so excited, and they'll drop it. It's
on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, it's just so much fun. Katie, what are you most excited for?
Oh, I'm excited to see the intensity. You know, it's like the second most important week of the year.
Yeah.
At least for the Kansas side, maybe the third most important week of the year for Missouri side, I guess we could say. I mean, when we
the Gardner fan base and head coach, they are so dialed into those games. I know a couple of weeks ago I was at a game, the Gardner head coach, so they're playing Blue Valley West. Blue Valley West quarterback throws the ball away. The Gardner head coach is on the sideline and like intercepts the throwaway and like throws the ball up in the air, and the whole Gardner parents section just went wild. So Gardner's got a good thing going on down there. But Olathe Northwest, elite fans. Also, one of their trainers on the sideline always talks to me about Warren Sears, maybe one of Olathe Northwest's most famous alums.
The Fighting Warren Sears.
Yeah, and he was a former offensive lineman there for the Ravens. So, hey, if they need a couple snaps tonight, we have to call one of our meteorologists.
All right. I mean, like when we talk about like rainy games, like out here we get a lot of like turf fields and like the nice fields. But I mean, like Mark, you and I both used to cover like in smaller markets, like there are small towns, and I went to a lot of small town Kansas towns in my first station, where like in a rainy game, or where it was raining during the day at least, those fields would be disgusting. They would be muddy. The kids would be sliding in them, having all that happen. So I'm glad to not have to walk around in mud piles tonight.
I'm going to have my boots on tonight, but I will say nights like this are like a small town athletic director's nightmare because everyone wants to be out there on the field. If you have a grass field, it's rainy, you're going to have a football game, those kids are just going to tear it up, and then you got to just hope for the best for the rest of the year. But at least at this point of the season, we're on turf fields. These are very good football teams, so yeah, we're going to see what happens.
All right, join us for Friday Night Blitz tonight during our 10 o'clock newscast. We've got some awesome highlights. We're going to go over what games are going to happen tomorrow and all that fun stuff, so you don't want to miss it. Mark, any
Don't forget about Play of the Night.
And don't forget about our Play of the Night.
Something we've been doing all football season right here on KCTV5. There have been some outstanding plays each and every week, and I think this week with what's on the line, I think we have potential for a really good Play of the Night, so be sure to tune in, see that tonight around 10:25.
Be there. All right, thanks for joining.